Oh, hi. This week, I am so tired. If you can't tell by my haggard appearance, including the craft clip holding my hair out of the way, because yes, I cut it and it is freshly colored, but I ran out of steam by the washing and styling point. So it's clean, if that counts for anything. But my personal hygiene is not what we're here to talk about today. For our project this week, I would suggest ignoring the bullshit I'm about to do to myself with these patterns that I have, because I lost the sleeve pattern. And what would be easier, and my suggestion, is to just copy a t-shirt you own that you already like. But what I'm gonna do is try to line up some arm size from a couple different Tilly and the Buttons patterns. That's gonna overcomplicate things, but that's kind of my MO. And then additionally, if that completely falls to shit, I will be making a raglan sleeve shirt. Mostly what I want to show you is how I'm going to make these shirts out of this amazing sheer fabric. This is only one of two piles that my fairy god Cheryl sent me, because she's just the most generous. And how could you not be obsessed with this fabric? This is the more Halloween specific one. I'm determined that at least one shirt get made today, and out of this particular fabric. My goodness, I had been filming for like 9 whole seconds and just everything went to shit. I can't express to you how hectic today has felt. Needless to say, I'm a little all over the place and a little bit sleepy. Oh boy, I managed to get a run in this. Don't pull on rogue strands. I'm gonna have to go recut this sleeve. Did I immediately ruin one of my sleeves before I even started sewing anything? Yes. Did I then decide to cut new sleeves and a neckband bit out of black velvet and then realize I didn't have enough fabric to do both sleeves? Yes. Did I then cut those pieces out of purple velvet and not get the nap right on one of the sleeves, but there is no longer any more purple left to correct that issue? Yeah. Since things have been a little hinky thus far, because I decided to do a very simple project out of not one, but now two of the most difficult fabrics to work with, I'm gonna break for some lunch and some puppy snuggles, because what the hell am I doing to myself? Also, everything's better when puppies are involved, right? And we will commence the shirt making. Maybe I also need a nap. My God. Oh boy, it's many hours later. I did take a nap with the pup, ate some lunch. We're kind of starting to near dinner time now, actually, but I did have a hangout with some of my friends. Hi, Sam and Galen, if you're seeing this. And I opened up a beer while we were chatting, and I feel more awake and also just less frantic. I was getting a little worked up earlier, and that's never a good place to be. I think that's part of why I managed to fuck this up 3 different ways. Even though, yes, it's tricky fabric, sure. But did I need to be in such a hectic headspace? No, I don't think so. We're here to have fun, goddammit. So let's have fun. Are you having fun? We have to attach the sleeves to the back and front, because the back and front don't actually touch each other at any point. And then the sleeves help make the neck hole, which is where the neckband gets attached, as they both have neck in the name. So yes, I have a front and back piece. I have my purple crushed velvet sleeves. Ooh, that I did not notch. Find myself getting confused which edge is the back and which is the front of the sleeve. And if you're doing a non-raglan sleeve, especially on a knit, it doesn't really matter most of the time. But yeah, this is the shape of a raglan sleeve. Oh, right. Even though one of the sleeves has the wrong nap direction, I did remember to make sure they were mirroring each other, so that the correct side of the fabric would be facing out on both ones. So there was a little bit of thinking happening while I was cutting everything out, just not a lot. I'm gonna do these with standard seams, where I'm just gonna stitch with a zigzag and then serge them, and then I'm gonna add a couple extra steps in because there's sheer fabric happening. And it's these little assembly bits that I'm hoping are helpful for y'all if you haven't done something like this before. Although clearly, if things have already gone this awry, am I the person to be telling you how to do things? I'll let you decide. Okay, so here is, you know, the main part. So here's my plan, right? Is to keep these seams from showing through the sheer fabric. Also, that was definitely on backwards. I am gonna do twin needle top stitching, but put the seam allowance under the solid velvet, so that not only will this lay nice and flush now and not like pucker out or anything, it's also going to keep that hidden, so it's not constantly trying to like flop behind this over here. I'm not 100% sure how. Oh, if I use it like a bias tape. Yes, I have a plan. I don't look it, but I promise I'm very excited about this idea. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get this sorted, and then yeah, I'll tackle the neckband. I mean, I know t-shirts go together quickly, but it just occurred to me there's like 2 or 3 more steps then we're done. Why was it so hard at the beginning? I think I was trying to force it. Wasn't actually up for doing it, but I felt like I needed to work on something today, which is never a good space to be in my noodle. So then taking that nap and having some food and chilling with the pup, watching parts of Rocket Man because I'm trash. And then hanging out with good friends and just catching up. Like, I'm not in a bad headspace this week. There's actually been some pretty positive things happening that I was not expecting, and like good surprises have been few and far between this year, but I'm trying to accept the positivity, which is also saying a lot for how far I've come this year, that I am able to do that, but still not a lot of sleep last night, and there are still a lot of stressful things going on. So my head was like, just not up for it, but a nap will work wonders. Clearly, don't I look on top of my game right now? All right, so this is what that looks like. You know, I wasn't 100% sold on this fabric combination, but now that I have the seams finished in the way I had envisioned them, I'm pretty into this. All right, so onto the neckband. Of course, it's folding it on itself because it's fucking stretch crushed velvet. First, you do the two short ends together. There we go. Once it's all connected, and then you have a loop. It's gonna be impossible to show you because it just wants to roll up on itself, but I'm gonna attach these two short ends together and take my shirt while it's right sides out. Obviously, I'll have to quarter each piece to get this to line up right. Right sides together for one edge, go all the way around. Then I'm gonna flip it over itself, and I'm definitely going to hand stitch this, and I'm definitely going to do it while I'm watching Rocket Man in the other room and finishing my beer and probably eating dinner by that point, because this is going to be frustrating to say the least. And then flip it over and then do the 2 rows of top stitching, so it'll be a little collar peeking out like this. Hopefully that's making sense. If not, I will obviously show you once I have this together. Hopefully by the time you see me next, I will have gotten through the trenches of adding this neckband like this. And honestly, like, it's gonna be a pain in the ass no matter what, because I am just working with the most pain in the ass fabrics. Okay, I have been using my external mic, and the battery shit the bed. It was still turning on, but then it would shut off right away, but I was not looking at it anymore when it was shutting off. We're just gonna do this old school without the extra mic. Did you even notice that I've been wearing one? I don't know. Has the audio been better? I also don't know. I'm putting more effort into it though. Anyways, this is the neckline, and I don't hate it. So I did the twin needle again, and yeah, it's basically a bias tape. Oh, the pins I had to put in this fucking thing. It was like the raccoon trap they make in Where the Red Fern Grows. We don't have to talk about the rest of that book, but like that particular scene sticks in my head a lot because I suppressed the other worse ones. All right. So last step, we're gonna French seam these side seams, which yes, will include doing the bottom of the sleeve. It'll probably be a little thick because this is obviously very lightweight and sheer, and the velvet is a thicker boy. So to do a French seam, you got to do wrong sides together. I know, it's gonna hurt you inside to do it wrong sides together, but it's just how this is gonna go down. So I'm gonna add some pins or clips, whatever, like this one here. Also, I haven't had too hard of a time sewing the velvet to the sheer fabric, but doing the side seams like this may cause a little bit of issues. We'll see. I do have a walking foot on my machine. I've been using a ballpoint needle. I have slightly lowered the presser foot pressure. I am starting at the velvet sleeve, which has a little more heft to it, and normally if my machine's gonna eat something, it's at the beginning of the row of stitching, so I suspect that may help if I start at the bottom of the sleeve and then work my way down. Okay, the seams have been done. Wrong sides together. Oh, it even feels difficult to say. I trimmed them down pretty narrow, and then I'm gonna flip this inside out. Now we're gonna do the seams again at a slightly wider, so I'm gonna call it 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8. Go up to 1/2 inch, 5/8, whatever you want, but just make sure you're accounting for that seam allowance you just did. That's gonna get eaten up in this seam allowance. So when you're measuring out your shirt, just account for it if the shirt you're copying has normal ass seam allowance. So yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, try to push those edges out so it's not like puckering in on itself, and then just same thing, go down each side. And then we'll see how she looks. All right, I'm gonna say this is done, because I don't really feel like having these. I think it looks fine. This is, you know, a little bit tight, but I think it suits being sheer. Having a little bit more closed off at the top complements it well, you know? And then, yeah, it's over a tank top. I tried it without the tank top, and it, you know, I'm just not at that place right now. I would like to, you know, wear this to work perhaps, and this seems acceptable like this. I like the print and how certain angles you see more of them. And even though this is sheer, I don't think is going to be too chilly. And listen, we're into layering weather. I'm pretty pleased with how it came out, considering how rough of a start it was at the beginning there. I didn't do anything with my hair, but I did take the hair clip out because it got caught on the shirt when I was trying to dress myself, because I am an adult. Just the right amount of spooky for late September is when I'm filming this. You will be seeing this once it is finally this spooky month. I am stupidly thankful that I get to dick around in my sewing room and fuck around with trying new fabrics and getting the twin needle out again and getting a little bit more practice. And I've never done knit bias tape before, and it was a lot, but the time I took, I didn't end up hand stitching it. I just pinned it like a motherfucker and it did the trick. And I'm really glad that I took the time to really, really be diligent about it and fight against the fiddliness. And I'm so lucky that I get to fuck around with stuff like this because of everyone over on my Patreon. All my lovely bog trolls. I will just never be over how many people are over there, and there's a couple recent folks hanging out. Hi Allison, I love you so much. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. And yeah, I appreciate the hell out of everyone here. You're all making it happen and giving me extremely incredible advice and helped me get better, both as a crafter and sewist, but also like genuinely as a me. I would not be as far along on my self-growth journey without so many of you both having my back and, you know, calling me out my shit sometimes too. It takes both sides, and yeah, I'm just so very lucky and so deep in the cheese. Man, all right. Well, I would also like to shout out my creator recommendation for this month. Now this is someone that I will genuinely be surprised if you have Twitter especially and are not following her, but Ashley C. Ford. She's just coming out with a book. I was just talking to a friend of mine about her amazing birds she is afraid of in order list that she has on her Twitter, because I've learned about some nightmare fuel from that. But generally, I just really appreciate being able to read her posts and hear what she has to say, because she's fucking brilliant and so funny and so thoughtful. As for me, I know this has been all over the place. I don't even know if this was actually helpful or not, but it's something I've been thinking about doing for a while. And even though it was a much bigger struggle than it needed to be at the beginning, I also checked in with myself and was like, now is not the time to push through this. Take a break, go do some stuff. So I also like showing the actual process of how even something as fucking simple as a t-shirt can really kick my ass sometimes. And I did end up getting through it because I recognized that like pushing through where I was earlier was not helpful, was not going to aid me in being productive, and I was just going to cause more harm than good. So I'm glad I kind of checked out, took the time, regrouped, realized I did want to continue with the project, but had I not, I would have given it another day, or if it was really that much of a struggle, I would have found something else to do, and that is the kind of stuff that I am so thankful for. My Patreon in particular, but all of you, anyone that's watching the videos, anyone that's sharing my videos, any of you that have bought stuff from my Etsy shop, every little piece of this brings together this amazing, very confusing and frustrating puzzle of a life I lead. And yeah, I would not be able to do this without you. Are we getting a little choked up about this? I think that is my cue to take this tiny little puppy that is down by my feet and go to bed. And then I will see you back here with another video next Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. Go get some sleep if you can, please. Thanks. Every time I film, it's like the first time.